Hi there, this is David, and we just had an Indie World showcase of all sorts of upcoming indie games to be released for the Nintendo Switch. A bunch of different games were announced in their 20-minute long live stream, but here I just want to focus on the RPGs, the action RPGs, the adventure games that really caught my interest. Starting here with this one. This is Monicos Night Market, coming out on September 26th. What first caught my eye was obviously the graphical presentation. It very much looks like Okami, which is one of my favorite games of all time. At first I was looking at it and I was like, is this like an Okami sequel? What is this? I was really happy to see something like this. It just looks beautiful, kind of like that ancient Japanese aesthetic, the storybook aesthetic that seems to be so popular nowadays. It looks like one of those relaxing, kind of cozy RPGs that people seem to be into. It's kind of channeling, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, that sort of thing. It's a narrative game focusing on the myth of a cat god, Niku, who came into this town and he was very benevolent, but then he went away, and now it is up to Miniku to kind of go around the world and find different items and various things to sell in her night market to kind of bless the town again. It looks really, really charming. Up next, we have My Time at Sandrock, which is coming out this summer. This is a sequel to the game you may have heard of, My Time at Portia. Essentially, it is you kind of are in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It looks very Wild Armsy, very Wild West, very Filgaia going on here, and you kind of have to go around and restore it to normal by harvesting and crafting and creating a town and farming. It does have some combat, so it's more similar to Rune Factory or Atelier rather than something like Harvest Moon, but it does look pretty cool if you're into those sorts of like simmy sorts of games. Next up, we have Animal Well. Whenever I first saw this, I was like, what? It's so dark. What is going on here? This is coming out early 2024, but the more that I looked at this, the more that I was like, okay, I can kind of see it. I kind of get it. It's kind of very Metroidvania. You can go and like capture monsters and have them like fight alongside you, find little treasures and stuff. It's really, really atmospheric. Reminds me of like the original Metroid, where you go around and go to different areas and find different stuff and everything. I could see myself getting into something like this. And later on today, we have Teslagrad 2 as well as Teslagrad 1 Remastered coming out later on today, and you can buy them together as a bundle if you want to, or you can buy them separately. This is developed by a Scandinavian team, so it's obviously influenced by Scandinavian culture, has like Nordic themes and things like that, soundtracks. A lot of games seem to be influenced by Scandinavian culture lately, and I actually like a lot of them that are. You have something called Teslamancy from Nikolai Tesla, and you have like electrical powers, and you can like zap through your enemies or like use the electrical powers to kind of stun them or hurt them or whatever. It looks pretty cool, looks pretty sweet. I'd never heard of this game before, but looking at it, it's something that I could totally get into. Here we have probably the most traditional RPG that was showcased, and whenever I first saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, what? And I actually put my pen down and I quit taking notes because I was like, is this even an RPG? I was like, what is this ugly game that I'm seeing here? This is Shadows Overloathing. It's releasing later today, digitally. If you want the physical version though, that's coming out this fall. Shockingly, this is an RPG, a turn-based RPG with kind of like a pen and paper aesthetic. It looks very, Dungeons and Dragons-y, but there's different job classes, you have turn-based battles, and the job classes are just as weird as you might expect from the graphics that you see here. It just looks very, very strange. The more I saw it though, I like picked up my pen about halfway through the presentation, and I was like, this actually looks kind of cool, you know. It's something to be said for, you know, you look at the graphics and you're like, but then you look at the gameplay and you're like, oh, I could see it. I could totally see it. And the final game that I want to talk about is Blasphemous II, sequel to Blasphemous 1, obviously. This is coming out this summer. It looks very much like SNES-styled action RPGs that I played as a kid. Games like Castlevania, games like Demon's Crest. You have 3 different weapons which you can attack 3 different ways with, you know, slow or fast or quick or whatever. It looks very it looks Metroidvania, but from what they were saying, they just called it an action platformer. I don't know if this is actually a Metroidvania or if this is just kind of going through the stages, but it looks pretty frickin' sweet if I do say so myself. So that's it for the 6 games that I think are really cool that they presented here. Let me know what y'all think, and as always, be sure that you're subscribed and have a good day.